Tonight, when you close your eyes, you're going to dream. You won't choose what about. You won't notice when it starts. And by morning, almost all of it will be gone before your hand even reaches the alarm. You won't care. To you, a dream is something you use once and throw away. But for over 300,000 years, night after night, your ancestors closed their eyes and stepped into the exact same world. The same brain, the same stage of sleep, the same images rising behind the eyelids while the body lay still in the dark. And to them, a dream was not something you throw away. So before there was language like ours, before cities, before named gods, before a single book existed to explain what an omen meant, what did they dream about? The answer isn't in the fossils. Dreams don't leave bones behind, but they left traces in two unexpected places. Inside your own brain, and inside a few of the last groups on Earth still dreaming the oldest way there is. Let's start with something that flips the question upside down. Dreaming is not a human invention. It is far older than we are. To understand why, you need to know where dreams come from. They come from a stage of sleep called REM, short for rapid eye movement. It's the window when your eyes dart back and forth beneath the lids. Your breathing quickens, and your brain lights up almost as if you were awake. Nearly every vivid dream you've ever had arrived in this stage. For decades, science believed only humans, and maybe a few mammals had it. Then, in 2016, a team at the Max Planck Institute published a finding in the journal Science. They put electrodes into the brain of the Australian bearded dragon, a reptile, and they found something that wasn't supposed to be there. Both slow-wave sleep and a form of REM. Stop on this for a second. If a reptile has REM, and mammals have REM, then the sleep stage that produces dreams must have already existed in the shared ancestor of both. That ancestor lived roughly 320 million years ago, before the first dinosaur ever walked. Do you see what that means? When your ancestors finally showed up, they didn't come up with dreaming. They inherited it. The way you inherit a heartbeat or a breath. Dreaming had been running through your family line for hundreds of millions of years before anyone was clever enough to ask what it was. Of course, the bearded dragon never told anyone about its dreams. Neither does your dog when it twitches its legs and whimpers in its sleep. Is it chasing something? Or are those just meaningless muscle spasms? Honestly, nobody has proven it either way. That's a line science still hasn't crossed. But the question stands. If dreaming is that ancient, evolution must have kept it for a reason. Anything expensive and useless gets thrown out. Dreaming never got thrown out. So what is it for? The most convincing answer comes from a Finnish neuroscientist named Antti Revonsuo. In the year 2000, he proposed an idea called the threat simulation theory. Put simply, dreaming is an ancient defense mechanism. During the day, you meet things that threaten you. At night, the brain selects those same threats and plays them out over and over in every possible variation. Not to torment you. To rehearse. The evidence isn't small. In a 2005 study, Revonsuo and his colleagues analyzed recurring dreams and found that about 66% of them contained at least one threat. And that threat was usually aimed straight at the dreamer. Chased, attacked, falling, lost. Now think about that a different way. The dream was the world's first survival simulator. It was the virtual reality of the Ice Age. Inside it, your ancestors could be caught by a leopard and wake up whole. They could fall off a cliff and open their eyes in the cave, heart hammering, alive. Every night they died and came back 1,000 times, so that by day they never had to die even once. And what did they dream about inside that simulator? Here's a second clue. Dream researcher G. William Domhoff calls it the continuity hypothesis. The idea is tight. You dream about what you care about. Not random things. The concerns that carry the most emotional weight while you're awake are exactly the ones that come back while you sleep. Put those two pieces together, the rehearsal of fear and the mind returning to what worries it most, and for the first time, we can step inside the head of a human being who lived 40,000 years ago. So let's step inside. You're lying on the ground in a cave, your body pressed against other bodies for warmth. And you dream. You dream of the yellow eyes of a cave lion in the dark outside. You dream of throwing your spear and missing. You dream of the ground vanishing under your feet as you climb. You dream you turn around and the whole tribe is gone and it's just you in the silence. You dream of hunger, real hunger, the kind that followed your ancestors through an entire winter. And sometimes you dream of the face of someone who died. So vivid that when you wake, you aren't sure they're really gone. To be fair, their classic nightmare wasn't showing up to a test with an empty head. Their version was probably this: throwing the spear, missing the deer in front of the entire tribe, and watching it bolt into the trees. That shame, it turns out, is as old as the fear. One thing needs to be clear, so no one misreads this. We do not have footage of prehistoric dreams. Those scenes are inference, reconstructed from neuroscience and from how the human brain actually works, not pure imagination. That distinction matters. We don't know every detail for certain, but we know fairly well what kind of dream a body living in danger would produce. For hundreds of thousands of years, these dreams came and went. and no one wrote them down. Until humans did something no species had ever done. They wrote them down. The earliest recorded dream in human history sits inside the Epic of Gilgamesh, composed in Mesopotamia around 2100 BCE. In it, the king Gilgamesh dreams of a heavy object, in one version an axe, in another a stone falling from the sky, crashing down in front of him. People gather around it. His mother reads the dream. It's an omen of a companion who is coming, one who will stand at his side. That companion is Enkidu. This is the first time in recorded history that a human tells a dream and another human tries to decode it. From there, people never stopped. By around 1220 BCE, the Egyptians had an entire dream dictionary, what we now call the Chester Beatty Papyrus. It lists symbol after symbol with its meaning, and it sorts dreams into two kinds. Good dreams, believed to be sent by the god Horus, and bad dreams planted by Seth, god of the underworld. Let that sink in. 3,000 years ago, a human woke in the night, frightened by a dream, and did exactly what you do when you're curious at 2 a.m. They went and looked up what it meant. The Greeks went further. They didn't just interpret dreams, they used them to heal. At the temple of the healing god Asclepius in Epidaurus, the sick were purified, then led into a sacred room called the Abaton, where they lay down to sleep, hoping to meet the god in a dream and be shown a cure. The ritual was called sacred sleep. To this day, you can still read around 70 accounts carved into stone of cures that were believed to have worked. And a man named Artemidorus, in the 2nd century, wrote a 5-volume work devoted to nothing but the interpretation of dreams. Do you see what's happening? Humans took the ancient survival simulator, the tool for rehearsing how to dodge a predator, and turned it into something else entirely. Into prophecy, into medicine, into a bridge to the world of gods and the dead. Dreaming went from keeping us alive to giving us meaning. But stone tablets only tell us about civilizations that could write. To know what a person living by hunting and gathering actually dreamed, we need something else. We need people still living that life. And this is where everything turns. In 2023, researchers from the University of Geneva and the University of Toronto published a study in the journal Scientific Reports. They collected 896 dreams from 234 people from 2 of the world's remaining forager groups, the BaYaka of the Congo and the Hadza of Tanzania. Then they compared them to the dreams of people in the West. The result says more than any stone tablet could. The dreams of the BaYaka and the Hadza often started with a threat, exactly as the threat simulation theory predicts. But they rarely stopped there. They tended to end in resolution, usually through the community. In the dream, when danger struck, other people appeared. The tribe arrived. The dreamer was carried. Their dreams began in fear and ended in belonging. And the dreams of modern Westerners, they tended to stay stuck in the fear. The threat came, and the dream dissolved before anyone was rescued. Let that reversal land. It's possible your ancestors didn't just dream more about danger. They may have dreamed in a more healing way than you do. Their dreams had an ending. Yours don't. And here's the part that sounds almost like a joke history is playing. You have a memory foam mattress, you have a sleep tracking app, blackout curtains, a white noise machine. The Hadza sleep on bare ground under an open sky with none of it. And they may be dreaming fuller, more comforting dreams than you are. So why would evolution keep dreaming for 320 million years if it were just scattered images? Because it isn't scattered. REM, the very stage that produces dreams, is also when the brain sorts and stores memory, especially emotional memory. In other words, the dream does 2 things at once, completely free, while the body lies safe in the dark. It trains you to survive, and it files away what you just lived through. No species could turn down a bargain like that. Maybe that's why some cultures never treated dreams as something to throw away. Aboriginal Australians, the oldest continuous living culture on Earth, stretching back some 65,000 years, built their entire understanding of the universe around a concept English translates as the dreaming. To them, the world, its laws, and its ancestors were all born from a dreamlike reality. Not the past, not memory. A parallel layer of the real that a person enters through sleep. If you want to know how much dreaming once mattered to our species, look at a people who placed their whole universe on top of it. So let's return to where we started. What did ancient humans dream about? They dreamed of the animals that could kill them. They dreamed of tomorrow's hunt. They dreamed of being left behind, of hunger, of collapse. And they dreamed of faces that were gone, so vivid that waking felt like touching the dead. Then, over thousands of years, they learned to tell those dreams, to carve them into stone, to turn them into omens and medicine and gods. Dreaming carried them from fear to meaning. And you? Every morning you wake and let the dream drift off like a piece of trash. You reach for your phone before the memory of it can even settle. You are a member of the first generation in 300,000 years, safe enough, fed enough, and lit enough to forget its own dreams. Your ancestors never had that luxury. To them, the thing that ran behind the eyelids each night was where they rehearsed survival, where they met the ones they'd lost, and where the whole tribe stepped in to carry each other through the dark. Maybe dreaming never evolved to entertain us. Maybe it evolved to keep us alive, and to keep us bound to one another. And maybe what you call a restless night, a strange dream already forgotten, is the last fragment of something older than language itself. Tonight, when you close your eyes, you're going to dream. And by morning, you'll throw away the very thing your ancestors for 300,000 years woke up to remember.